Hello, hello.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Hello, we've got State Rep Aftyn Behn here on the show. What's going on, Aftyn? How are you doing today?
I'm happy to be here. It's a first time caller, long time listener.
Oh,
We love to hear that. A good start.
very.
um, Representative Behn, why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about the district that you're running for and, who your opponent is. And, it's a very Republican district. I understand Trump won it by 20 plus points. Why you think you may have a shot to pull off a big upset here?
Yeah, so I'm State Representative Aftyn Behn. I represent downtown Nashville, and I've been in the Tennessee legislature for 2 years. This congressional special election came about because Representative Mark Green cashed in on his corporate checks, took a job in Guyana after voting for the Big Ugly Bill and skipped town, and thus catalyzing a special election. It is the last flippable red to blue congressional special election in the entire country. If you all remember, after redistricting in 2020, Nashville, which was a consolidated Democratic district, was cut into three. So this is one of those congressional districts. And it includes the highest voter turnout precincts in Nashville. It includes our purple bellwether county of Montgomery, which is by the Kentucky border, includes Fort Campbell, and goes all the way down to the Alabama border. Mark Green, when in the aftermath of the redistricting, said, "Do not do this. It will backfire." And the backfiring is here. It is an R+20 district, but our polling in October showed us 6 points down. And we are shrinking those margins every day, which is why they've dropped $2 million in the race to try to prevent this upset from happening in the South. And this race is competitive for a few reasons. One is just the dissatisfaction from the federal administration that this administration has not delivered on the economic agenda it promised. And two is the momentum is on our side. I'm a candidate who has never taken corporate PAC money, nor will ever, and don't answer to the special interests, as opposed to my opponent, who is a puppet to the puppet masters of the universe and has rubber stamped and only does things when the puppets masters tell him to do it. And the voters are recognizing that. So that's why this district has become suddenly really competitive.
So, Aftyn, I've always thought that state legislators have a pretty unique, and city councilors to some degree too, but they're almost too low down. State legislators have a pretty unique window into how regular people are feeling about everything in general, but also politics in particular, in a way that even federal lawmakers, after they've been in Washington for a little bit too long, don't. And that people running for Congress for the first or second time also have kind of an advantage when it comes to what they're perceiving on the ground. They're just a little bit more alive and awake to it. So what are you what is the national media missing about how people are feeling about the country, the direction of the country right now? And what are we missing? As somebody who's been watching this show for a while.
I was just pulling my Ryan Grimm book out of my. Sorry, I didn't know. I'm just fangirling right now. Big fans.
Which one, Aftyn? Is it the drug one or is it the squad one?
Oh, no way. Oh, it's really right there.
We got people.
All right.
Let's go.
Now
It's a good one.
Newest hotness.
Oh man, I'm so honored. So I got my start as a community organizer in Tennessee, organizing to expand Medicaid, and then during the 2017 Affordable Care Act and Medicaid cuts, that fight, and I have been someone who's been trying to make healthcare more affordable in this state for a long time, and I think the paradigm is shifting, and there's a few reasons for that. One is that we've had a Republican trifecta in the state for 15 years, and it has not delivered for the Tennessee people. We are the most dangerous place for workers in the country. We have the highest maternal mortality rate in the country. We have the highest inflationary cost of groceries in the country, and they look around and there's no one else to blame, right? I mean, obviously they blame immigrants, but immigrants are not the reason our grocery prices are high. And I do think that the paradigm is shifting because the Republican trifecta has gotten lethargic. While they've been scapegoating and terrorizing, we have been building and caring for each other. We've been building the organizing muscle we need to actually win this election. And I think the affordability crisis is hitting everyone. I mean, it transcends geographies. It transcends partisanship. I'm someone in the legislature who's fought to end Tennessee's regressive grocery tax by closing corporate tax loopholes. It's something I've been organizing around for the past 3 years, and I've built a base of people on either side that know that I stand against corporate rule and for the people. So there is a shift, and it is going to happen in Tennessee. And as W.E.B. Du Bois once said, as goes the South, so goes the nation.
Aftyn, I'm in charge of drama clips, and there's a recent clip going around that we wanted to give you a platform to respond to. In our business, we call this like chimp clipping when it's clips out of context. This felt like an out of context clip, but I'll read a little bit of the quote here. Apparently, you said, "I hate the city. I hate the Tennessee bachelorettes. I hate pedal taverns. I hate country music. I hate all the things that make Nashville. I hate it." Now, in the audio, to me,
the
it sounded
bachelorette part is a little bit fair, isn't it?
It's so fair.
Sure,
we won't make you
but
weigh in on that, Aftyn. But
what would you like to say about this clip that's floating around?
So I'm going to say something I haven't said, and I think it's funny. I hope my parents don't kill me, but I do not hate country music. I was conceived after a George Strait concert, so I was personally attacked. But it just shows, the New York Times reported that there's a 48-page dossier of me, which includes, clips. I had a podcast back in the day called Grits, Girls Raised in the South. And I was lamenting about, the things that are wrong with our city, obviously taken out of context, obviously hyperbolic. And I don't feel that way at all. I have spent the past decade of my life pouring blood, sweat, and tears into my city and my state to make it better for working people. And I think I think it's backfiring. I mean, they really they're digging deep, and clearly they've dug. I don't know. They haven't dug far enough, I guess.
About a year ago, almost a year ago, almost exactly, we had Zoran Mamdani on the show, and nobody knew who he was at the time. I forget whether Griffin or Ryan gets the credit for that booking, but I remember we were asking him, it was right after the 2024 election, about his pitch, if he was talking to any of those people who swung for Trump in the 2024 election around New York City and some of the boroughs. And he said, in fact, just over the weekend, he had been out talking to people and trying to pitch himself, actually to Trump voters, which is something that Democrats were very reluctant to do during the first Trump administration and in the interim time period. So how are you finding that when you talk to people who are Republicans, Trump voters, you're able to connect with them on your policy agenda?
So as a state legislator, I've worked really hard. Obviously, Trump handedly won Tennessee, and I've worked really hard to create entry points for people waking up to the fact that they've been scammed by this economic agenda. And it's important right now, especially in the South under authoritarian capture. We have to create entry points to broaden our coalition of people who believe that democracy needs to be restored. And so I think that I do have cross-partisan appeal. I will say that my worst enemies do say that I'm likable and authentic, and I'll take it. And, for the culture, I've really tried to, obviously, I've got my own politics, but I don't equivocate. And my Republican colleagues in the legislature, they said, even if I don't agree with you, I know where you stand on the issues. And that's where my constituents know I stand. And finally, just the special interest. We're seeing a wave of Democrats in the South that aren't beholden to these corporate entities, and it's extremely popular. And I've been endorsed by End Citizens United. I will fight to end dark money in politics, and that's something that absolutely resonates across party lines.
Let me ask you a tactical question here. So some of the thinking, from people who like me who aren't in the district was like, maybe if people there don't really notice there's an election going on, maybe she could sneak through, because it's a very difficult district, even as I think people can see what a compelling and extraordinary candidate that you are. And so some of us got a little nervous when we saw that Kamala Harris was coming to the district. She's obviously a very polarizing figure, and would certainly draw a lot of attention to the race. So I'm curious your view on her coming in, the reason the decision was made to have her come in, and what impact do you think that has on the race?
Yeah, I mean, I'm grateful for any support from anyone across the country. The South has been historically disinvested in, and I know that uniquely and innately as a Southern organizer. So any support is welcomed. The district does include North Nashville, which is historically Black communities. And so to see the faces of those HBCU students that have never seen a political figure like that in our city. It was really rewarding to see the smiles on their faces. But I'm also someone I've never been the political insider. I've never been the chosen party candidate. And so I think in my political career, my trajectory, most people that I've worked with know that. And so if my party's not doing the right thing, then I will, and I'm not beholden to them in any way. And there are multiple times in the legislature that I voted with my constituents over my own beliefs and biases. So I'm definitely someone that is welcome to community feedback and will represent the interest of her district over that of the party.
What are the ads like in the home stretch? Are they hammering the I hate the Bachelorettes and I hate Memphis thing? Is that, are you what are you seeing blanket the airwaves, and what's your ad? How many resources, do you have the resources you need to compete down the stretch? And so what's the final competition look like?
Yeah. So, the ad they're running, just some background. In May, we had a massive, unprecedented ICE operation with our Tennessee Highway Patrol. They worked clandestinely to pull over 369 community members, of which were my constituents. And prior to that, I'm a social worker. And so I had been conducting a community needs assessment in the most Hispanic part of my district. And they said, we don't feel like our elected officials are doing enough. And we think racial profiling is the number one issue of our concern. So I took that as a mandate. And when I showed up, I decided to monitor their activities in my district. I recorded a video that then Representative Andy Ogles retweeted and called for my arrest. The Department of Homeland Security then retweeted it and called for my arrest. There was an incident at the legislature where someone tried to follow me into the building in a ski mask and gloves. I basically had to go underground for 3 weeks. And so I say that because that's the video they're promulgating, that I'm against law enforcement, which is not true. And they, it's the federal overreach right now that we're seeing. And I find it satirical that people who have lauded small government for so long are suddenly okay with masked federal agents pulling people out of cars in front of their kids for them never to be seen again. So that's the video they're using. Although they have chosen some cute photos of me, so I will say I'll hand that to them.
That's unusual.
Not all bad, yeah.
Not all bad. But what's interesting about this race, and then our videos are, the first one was on a mechanical bull in Nashville, and there's a billionaire on the mechanical bull, and it's they get a free ride in Washington, and then all Tennesseans are being thrown off as statistics are being read. And we've got another one dropping in on Monday. The spending we've obviously been outnumbered 3-1, but I hope the cavalry is coming because this race is super, super tight. The polling on both sides is showing it, and that's why they're coming hard for me. But it is a race that's winnable, and I'm just really honored to be the Democratic nominee.
And Aftyn, a few things before we let you go that'll be important to our audience, and I'll just give them all to you, and I have a feeling you're not going to have any trouble fielding these. No AIPAC or other Israel lobby money, oppose the genocide, would block future weapons sales to Israel.
Yeah, I've been outspoken against, I voted in the Tennessee legislature to ensure no foreign interference in our elections. And I think that it obviously extends to Israel. And I've spoken out numerous times on the House floor against this. So I do have a track record.
There you go.
What would re-election look like? Is this a one and done situation? How do you stay in office if you get in there?
Yeah, the mechanics are tough, right? Because the aftermath of, unless we can build a coalition of people who will reverse the Medicaid cuts, whoever's in office next year is going to be blamed for the aftermath of this bill that passed in July. And I'm not naive to that. I think what it would take is a cavalry of a cadre of social workers, right? Because people are going to be disenrolled from Medicare, Medicaid, SSDI, right? And you're going to have to be re-enrolling people in these public benefits. Additionally, I think it's going to take a lot of effort to combat the mis and disinformation, right? And it's going to have to be localized organizing. So we're going to have really embedded field staff within these counties. And I'm going to have to go into the lion's den in these rural, county Republican parties and hopefully make my case. I know you're going to probably spend hundreds of millions of dollars to oust me next year, but please give me a chance, because I promise, even if I'm not agreeing with you, I'm happy to have a conversation and I welcome the relationship.
Right.
All right. Well,
all right. Awesome. Okay. Sorry. Go, Ryan. Last question, Ryan.
Yeah. Just to Emily's point, what is the thing that works the best with these Trump supporters who are open
It's I've knocked thousands of doors in Tennessee and have spoken to about really contentious issues, and it's sowing seeds of cognitive dissonance that you don't force down their throats, right? And so I think if we can just continue to highlight how this agenda isn't working and build the entry points, they can come off. But I've said this with my whole chest from day one, is that immigrants are not the reason your grocery prices are high. And when they come back with, well, all these questions, it's like, that's not the reason you're struggling. Like, anytime the culture war reaction, it's like, well, is that going to fix I-24, which is our highway? Is that going to build another hospital, right? And I've been dogged about that, and I really hope it's resonating with the district. And as one of my conservative talk show radio host friends, which I go on conservative talk radio, said, you're a lot like Trump. I was like, say more, please.
You've got great hair.
Yeah, great hair. He goes, you're authentic, and people know that. I'm the same person I was in 5th grade that I am as a legislator, that I will be as your congresswoman, and you know where I'm going to stand on that. And just briefly, hearing President Trump mention my name was probably the highlight of this campaign. And I thought he was going to be like, Ivanka's way cuter than Aftyn Behn, blah, blah, blah. She's not a real blonde. But no, he went the historical conventional route, which was, I'm a left-wing lunatic. So that's, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good Trump.
Thank you.
Pretty standard issue fare from there.
Anyone else got any final questions before we let Aftyn go?
I was going to say, if anybody wants to be part of that cavalry coming in here, help you get across the finish line, where can they support you? And I guess I was curious, I think early voting has started. What indications are you getting there, real quick?
It's so close, and trust me, I'm a jaded electoral organizer, as I've been. One must imagine Sisyphus happy, right, as he's rolling the boulder up the hill in a state like Tennessee. We are so close, and it's going to come down to turnout in Nashville, and it's going to come down to sporadic voters who historically don't vote but need to be excited. So if you're in Nashville, please check your voter registration. See if you're registered to vote in the 7th Congressional District. AftynForCongress.com. We've got phone banking. It is, I want to say, 12 days until Election Day. And I don't know. I've been really jaded, and this is the first time that I've been excited. And I think we're inspiring a country. And I'm just really honored to be the nominee at this moment in time in American and Southern political history.
Amazing.
Well, and the podcast is Grits. That's the podcast.
Oh, don't surface it.
Never mind. The podcast is Breaking Points. Thank you, Aftyn. And people we'll put the link in the description of the video if people want to learn more about you. And thank you, and good luck.
All right.
Thanks.
See you on the other end.
You got it. Always great to have a Breaking Points viewer on.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it when people are starstruck by Ryan.
That was a
walking
good
around
very common.
Walking around the DNC with Ryan was an experience.
That's funny. Well, in other words, she has no chance. Nobody who is a fan of this show and
things are changing, Ryan. Things are changing. Times are changing.
Successful at the national level.
She's got. I mean, that's a tough district, very tough district. But you can see why people are excited about. I mean, she's very impressive. Like she knows what she is all about. Not afraid to say it. Like very excellent candidate. So, it'll be interesting to see. If she's able to pull it off, it would be. Oh my God, it'd be insane.
I mean, also, there are parts of Nashville that are just like overrun by tourist garbage. I assume that's what she means.
It's absolutely true. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And who in Nashville would disagree with that?
True Nashville. I mean, that would be like New Yorkers being offended by like saying that Times Square sucks, Like, no, the true New Yorkers would be like, we avoid it like the fucking plague, obviously,
Watch out.
I think a lot of...
I love the M&M store.
Fridays,
the M&M store.
You love the M&M store.
There's a Raising Cane's there that is apocalyptic.
The Virgil's in Times Square is fun.
Yeah, so I don't know. Speak for yourself.
I've been there with my kids a number of times, and it was hellish every single instance.
I've been on bachelorette pedal pubs.
Wow.
Oh my, Emily.
I've done the
You are the
worst
problem.
nightmare.
Enemy number one.
You are the problem.
Yeah.
Not by choice. Not by choice. Not by choice.
I didn't even know what a pedal pub was, but now that you say it, I understand what it is.
You like bike and drink, right?
Yeah.
You don't really bike. I mean, they have pedals, but you're not really pedaling.
You're not even pedaling. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but the Austinization of Nashville is not just complete, but
Bleak.
even on another level. Yeah, and it's become this like sort of corporate. It's very like Atlanta coded now, like a very heavy. You know, this, like a lot of people who are from New York and Los Angeles now in Nashville.
I mean, when I lived in Kentucky, I spent a decent amount of time in Tennessee, not just in Nashville, actually around the state. And it truly is actually one of my favorite states. It's natural beauty wise, it's extraordinary. And Nashville is like, I mean, it's fun and kitschy or whatever. But yeah, I could see being annoyed if you were actually from there by the bachelorettes and some of that stuff. So. Fair enough.
And again, I gotta say, I think she was being sarcastic. You know, this is another podcaster and coming up in power. So, you know, we can't talk about old clips and people transform. They're new.
I do kind of want to listen
voters.
to her podcast, though. I bet it was good.
Yeah.
I bet it was good. She's got it, man. I bet it was. She and the I've Had It ladies, they need to hang out.
I was gonna say
that would go hard.
I know it would go so hard. I'm definitely gonna hit Jennifer up after this and be like, I've got someone you need to have on.
All right. On that note, we are going to head over to the second half of the show where we've got a bunch more news and AMA questions to talk about. Of course, that's breakingpoints.com if you want to sign up and get the full show. Anything else before we head out? Nope. All right. We'll see you guys on the other side. Bye.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.